My name is Joseph Emerson,
My name is Paige Bird.
and welcome to
Our podcast.
the podcast we are doing right now is about a specific video game,
Yeah, that one that came out on the Switch last year in the summer.
and that game is called Splatoon 2.
Yep. And it's one of the most popular games on the Nintendo Switch.
Like most Nintendo games out there, it's very kid-friendly due to its eccentric colors and childish themes. The main gameplay is a shooter-styled game, but it's not like any other shooter out there.
Yeah, it's not that violent.
It's more of a cover the ground with a specific color of ink to win the round.
Yeah, think of it like paintball. But more whimsical.
Splatoon 2 is a sequel to a previously known game called Splatoon.
Which came out on the Wii U, but the Wii U didn't sell as well as the Nintendo Switch has been recently.
Because of its limited advertising range and general lack of games.
Yeah, but Splatoon was a hidden gem among the games came out for the Wii U.
Much like Splatoon 2, Splatoon 1 has basically the same style to it, but there are gameplay features that are removed from Splatoon 2 that were in Splatoon 1.
Yeah, the specials were a big difference. Like the specials from that game are not really there anymore, except for the Bomb Rush, but then there's the other specials which got replaced in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, the whole reason of the specials being removed were due to software differences, like the Wii U having a touchpad screen, whereas the Switch does have a touchable screen.
For the handheld mode.
Yeah, and it won't allow it. Just while in hand mode, it's kind of disorienting trying to use a touch screen while it being your only screen.
Yeah, it would be very difficult to use an ink strike on that.
Yeah. From the topic of Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, in Splatoon there is a wide variation of different gear / weapons.
Or gear would be known as clothing to customize your character.
Yes. The weapon types there are Splattershot,
Yeah.
Splat Roller,
Yeah.
Ink Brush,
Yeah.
Dualies.
Which new to Splatoon 2. They weren't included in Splatoon 1. Were they?
No, they were not.
Oh.
The Slosher,
Yeah.
the Umbrella, which is new to Splatoon 2,
Yep. And there was another one.
and there is the Blasters.
Oh yeah, and the chargers as well.
Ah, yes, the Chargers. And then there's the
Splatlings.
Splatlings, which are basically mini guns in a way. The Splattershot is like a charger. Sniper.
The charger is like a sniper.
The charger is a sniper that it allows you to shoot a highly pressurized bit of ink to immediately splat an enemy.
It doesn't cover as much turf as the other weapons though.
Dualies are two pistol-like things that can rapidly fire ink and can be really useful to color turf with.
Yeah. And then there's also the melee weapons like the Splat Roller and the Ink Brush, which are really good at covering turf. And
with the roller and brush, you can press the trigger and let go to do a swing with the brush and a fling with the roller. But holding the trigger down will make you move forward in a rolling
Or painting.
or painting way.
Kind of way.
Yeah. The splash shots are pretty generic, rapid fire shooting
Weapons.
weaponry.
Pretty self-explanatory. The blasters are kind of like
They shoot out can shoot out a heavy blast that explodes with ink.
And then there's also the slushers, which are like you can throw out lots of ink from like buckets and stuff like that.
Yeah, buckets, washing machines, and other random things you would think to throw a bucket of ink out of.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's the bathtub now, and which all the blob blubber, and it's
And it shoots bubbles of ink.
yeah. Despite how weird that sounds, they can be pretty useful.
Very useful, especially to keep pressure on a enemy team.
Yeah, and each weapon comes with a sub weapon, like a bomb or something, and a special weapon, which basically, well, special weaponry, kind of like they're kind of like ultimates from Overwatch. They're like your special move,
Yeah,
like to change the tide of the game.
yeah, and the subs are just minor things that can help change which team is in the lead, like splat bombs,
Point sense,
point sensors, which allow you to tell where people are.
and also the squid beacons, where you can jump to them and you can get back in the game easily.
There is also hidden mines that will detonate, doing some damage to the enemy, and also allowing you to track them for a small bit of time.
Yep.
And then there is the new stuff, which we will get into later.
Yep. And also, but unlike in other games, the clothing you can have for your character actually has some abilities that help you in game.
Yes, these abilities come in main slots and sub slots.
You can fill the free slots or one or two, depending on the level of gear, over time as you level up.
Yes, the main slot will have a pretty buffed version of the ability of the gear, like some things like
Like Ink Saver, which saves your ink on certain things like your main sub or special.
Ninja Squid, which will allow you to swim through ink without being detected.
Pretty useful, and also which I think is pretty useful is Haunt, which after you get splattered allows you to see the player who had splattered you previously.
Another useful ability is one called Thermal Ink, which allows you to see enemies through walls if you've managed to cover them in some ink and not be able to kill them.
Yeah.
Some of the sub versions of the abilities are like ammo conservation, or as it's called,
Ink Save,
Ink Saver main or sub, which
I've said previously.
Ink Saver main will drain your ink less while shooting your
Main weapon. The subs limits, shortens the amount of ink drained by your sub, and special.
special. There are also other abilities like sub power up, or grenade, or no, not grenade. Sub power up, and special power up.
Pretty useful.
Pretty useful. Sub defense.
And there's also the special saver, which after you die you can save your special.
Save more of your special than you would normally, and there is special rate up, which allows you to get your special quicker.
Yeah,
it's pretty helpful if you want to change the tide of the game. There are many other abilities out there, but it would be a bit hard to
Explain.
go over them all.
Yeah. Which is a bit unfortunate, but oh well.
Along with the gear or clothing, there comes brands, and
Like specific brands for each clothing. Kind of like how Modern Society.
yeah, and those brands have specific themes to them, specific styles, and
Specific styles and like powers as well.
Yeah, they can have certain abilities attached to those brands.
Like for example, Tony Kenta has like a black and white theme going with it.
Along with newer type subs and specials, which again we'll get onto later. Alongside the weapons and other gear, there are these figures called amiibo, which are, of course,
Basically little figurines.
yeah, little figurines in real life that you can show. You can put.
You can scan them and they can get you gear in Splatoon 2. Like for one example, one of them has a school gear, another one has a theme park mascot. I do not know why they
It
influenced
can
that.
range from anything like that at any point, and having that type of that compatibility and it not being a requirement makes it pretty easy to.
Makes it pretty easier to get more gear and some.
Different playstyles.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Going on from Amiibo, there is also game modes that aren't online based.
Yeah, there's the hero mode, like the single player campaign, and there's also the DLC which came out.
Earlier this year, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think so. The Octo expansion.
The Octo expansion and the hero mode base game are modes that are outside of online play and allow you to get used to the game without competing against other people.
Yeah.
Can't really say too much about it without spoiling story elements, but it is a story mode for the game.
Yeah, and I don't really want to spoil the Octo expansion because I know some people haven't played it yet.
Yeah. And that's about that for the other game modes. Though there is other online game modes like Salmon Run, which allow you to go in a team of 4 against
AI and collect eggs.
yeah.
And there are different ranked modes, whereas, well, the regular mode is Turf War, but ranked and League have like 4 different modes that have different objectives.
Like Tower Control, Splat Zone,
Rainmaker and Clan Billets.
and those modes are fun in their own right. Like Tower Control is you go onto a tower and guide it to the enemy's base to win the game. Splat Zone is holding a point for however long to win. Clan Blitz is probably one of the most unique out of the ranked game modes.
Yeah, basically just put like I don't know how many clams into the other enemy's basket to win.
Yeah, and Rainmaker is a game mode that I'm not a personal fan of, but I know people who do like it.
Yeah. Basically, Rainmaker is kind of like Capture the Flag. You have to get the Rainmaker, which is a weapon, all the way to the enemy's base, kind of like tower control, but you have to guide the Rainmaker yourself.
Yeah. And on from the game modes is a topic that is pretty popular amongst the Splatoon community, and that would happen to be Splatfest.
Yeah, they're monthly competitions, kind of, where you have to pick between one of two sides, and they have to compete in each other, and the one with either with the most votes or the most amount of points collected would win.
Yes, the winning requirement for the Splatfests are pretty easy to grasp. There are 3 requirements to win, and you need to get 2 of the 3 to win.
Yeah.
The 3 requirements are popularity, wins in single teams, turf wars, and the third one being wins in teamed turf wars, which...
Yeah. Well, that's what it used to be, but now it's collecting points, which I don't know why they changed that aspect, but...
I think it was because of the whole winning thing was a bit...
Oh yeah, Pearl, one of the characters in the game, the 2 sides are represented by 2 characters in the game, which are basically the news announcers, Pearl and Marina. Pearl kept on winning a lot, which I think that's why they changed it, because she kept winning.
Her teams, or one team, was always too... it was always too one-sided whether they would win or lose.
Yeah. And the topic of the Splatfest can range. I mean, the one we had last was Trick or Treat, which was for Halloween.
But one of the weirdest ones was ketchup versus mayonnaise,
Yeah.
which is an odd one, but anything can happen in Splatoon.
Yes.
And on from...
But there are some differences in countries. I know Japan had like rock or pop for their for Splatfest, but while America and Europe got ice cream and cake.
Yeah, it does depend on what region you're in, like Europe, America, or Japan, whether you'll get certain Splatfests. And on from Splatfest is
The recent 4.0 update, isn't it?
yes, the 4.0 update line, which 4.0 is a recent update series that has added a new brand and a few new subs and specials.
Yeah. Like the new Tony Kensel weapons, and which are really useful. And there are 2 new specials. Oh boy, they're good.
The new specials are the Booyah Bomb, which is a collection of energy that you throw down into a big explosion of ink
By booyahing.
by pressing down on the
D-pad, which makes you say booyah, which is one of the key commands to help with the communication of the team.
yeah. And then the second special is
The Ultra Stamp.
which I like to call the squeaky toy of death. Because it looks like a squeaky hammer.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
It's pretty basic on what you do with it. You either press the trigger once to do a giant slam with it, or hold...
Or if you press repeatedly, you're gonna be dragged along with it.
and then you can hit the button to
Throw the sub and it just explodes.
It explodes into a giant bit of ink.
Yeah, that's...
And then from the specials that
There's also new subs.
new subs,
There's the Fizzy Grenade.
the fizz bomb is a grenade that allows you to...
Shake it, and if you throw it, it leaves a trail of ink, and it has up to 1 to 3 explosions.
Yeah. And then there's the torpedo, which you can throw it out and it'll home into someone, and when it explodes into little scatter pellets that also explode.
Yeah.
And think that's about it.
Yeah, we've covered a lot, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, I think that would be it for
Yep.
this podcast.
Yep. See you later. See you later.